Good evening and welcome to our Year 12 Parents Information Evening. I'm Miss Mullard, Assistant Principal of Sixth Form here at Beckenham, and alongside me I have Mr Boylan, who is the Coordinator of Sixth Form. This event would usually be face-to-face, but because of the COVID-19 restrictions, we're unable to have parents and visitors on site currently. Any questions that may arise or that you feel have been unanswered during this presentation, please feel free to contact the Sixth Form team. The emails are provided below on the slide. Harris Beckenham is part of a federation of sixth forms, and we are judged as an outstanding provider, not only at the academy, but also as part of the federation. Being part of our federation means we have many benefits. We get to work with other sites and different academies, exchanging our professional expertise and increasing the breadth of opportunities for our students. As you can see, the main sites we work with are Bromley, Crystal Palace and South Norwood. These are the sites that we mainly share our cross-site lessons.
So the Federation team comprises of Mrs Miles, who is the Principal of the Federation Sixth Form. We have Miss Anstey and Mr Osborne, who are both Vice Principals, and these staff members are not based at Harris Beckenham. However, myself, Mr Boylan, Miss Mullard, Mr Jankowski and Miss Landreth, who we'll introduce you to later on, are all based on site at Beckenham. We would also like to introduce you to our head boy and head girl. Their names are Casey and Junior, and they will support our Year 12s in their transition to sixth form. Additionally, they will be an excellent source of advice should your son or daughter wish to apply for head boy and head girl positions, which will be available in the autumn term too. We hope they do so. We'll also be recruiting senior prefects who will have a wider role across the academy, and more details about this will follow. So, for those of us who know us, our ethos centres on the 4 R's, and these 4 R's are resilience, reflectiveness, resourcefulness and reciprocity, and this applies to our sixth form too. Our ambition is for all students to aspire, discover and achieve, and our curriculum and wider school offering is driven with our ambition and ethos at the forefront of everything we do. Nearly all of our students go on to study at university, and the majority attend their first choices. A number also attend Russell Group universities, and some of our key successes last year can be seen on the slide. Our students secure places on degrees in a vast range of subjects such as political economy, law, mechanical engineering and accounting and English. We're also seeing an increasing number of students going on to apprenticeships with leading companies such as IBM and Deloitte. We have ambitions to become even better than we are now. Therefore, our expectations of ourselves and our students are exceptionally high.
Our post-16 students are very much our role models to our lower school students in the school. Our expectations and standards are even higher than our lower school students. We expect our students to adhere to and demonstrate our core values in everything they do. It's important at post-16 that you have a 96% attendance, as A-levels and CTEC qualifications are far harder than GCSEs. There is a huge rise in the commitment and effort required to be successful. Therefore, the attendance figure is there to make sure we can support you and your child through their study at the academy. Students are expected to arrive on time to the academy every day, and I will talk about the academy times and lesson structure in the next few slides. However, it's extremely important students attend both lessons on site and virtually. Students are expected to meet all deadlines for assessments and homework, so they are fully prepared for their lessons. Failure to prepare means that we do not get an accurate data picture, which means it's difficult to put in support where it is needed.
As we all know, during the COVID-19 changes, we've all faced very difficult times in the last 6 months, and nobody's been hit harder than schools and school children. It's been an absolute travesty that students have missed up to 6 months education, and here we've tried to keep that running virtually with some face-to-face lessons. To ensure we still have an outstanding education provision, we have made some changes to our timetable, the building, the entry and dismissal arrangements, and break and lunch times.
The The structure of the timetable for post-16 has changed, whereby students attend 3 out of the 4 possible occasions. This is determined by their subject block. For example, the timetable that you can see here in grey. The timetable shown would mean that the student attends the academy on Tuesday, Block B for chemistry, on Wednesday for Block C, psychology, and for Thursday, Block D, biology. You can see this as the block is indicated after the 12 on each of the subject days, along with the subject they are studying. Using the same timetable, the student would have Monday and Friday to complete their additional learning at home. I will detail this in the following slides. All lessons on site require students to arrive by 9:10 and to finish at 15:40 to minimise the risk of cross-contamination of year groups. But also, students will also have to remain on site for their break and lunch. Purchases can be made from the canteen. This will include hot and cold food, but also drinks. Fridays are also where resit English and Maths occurs, and any extra study support, if required, will occur on the Fridays.
So even though our students don't actually sit sessions with their tutor face to face, all students have been allocated a tutor and they met them on the induction day. Their tutor will be making bi-weekly calls to check their settling into the academy and just to check on their all-round general well-being. Each tutor has their own Microsoft Teams group.
To aid online learning, an overview can be found on our website, and the details where the pre-reading, independent research, strengthening tasks, which are tasks to bridge the gap between Year 11 and Year 12, and exam applications. If you look to the left, I've indicated where on the website it can be found. All online lessons are mandatory, and they will be required to be undertaken before each lesson occurs. Additionally, you will also find the essential and wider reading list for each subject. Over the next week, we will be informing students in their lesson of the compulsory textbooks for each subject. Furthermore, students have been given their login details so they can access Microsoft Teams, where they've been added to each of their subject groups. In these groups, they will find additional homework, additional lesson content and resources, all to be done during their home learning days.
So on top of lesson content, students have been added to whole year group and tutor group Microsoft Teams. Within the whole year group team, they'll find additional mandatory activities focusing on study skills and PSHE. We'll also be posting opportunities such as university events, taster courses and workshops here too. We recommend Year 12 to participate in as many of these as possible to strengthen their UCAS application or their resumes for the apprenticeships next year. Throughout this year, our students will be provided with a large number of opportunities focusing on careers and their next destinations. This includes 2 weeks of career enhancement at the end of the summer term, which comprises of work experience and next destination focus. Pretty much it's the beginning of UCAS. As part of their personal development, they will have opportunities with Pathways and Uptree, who will provide workshops on STEM roles and using labour market information, roles that will be in demand in the future. At this moment in time, all opportunities will be virtual with the hope that we can return to our annual university trips and taster days in the near future. Let me bring you on to the Harris Experience Advanced. So this is a programme targeted at our most able students. It is a bespoke programme that runs across the Federation and it's structured to ensure access to top universities such as Oxford, Cambridge and the Russell Group universities. It is still running virtually and here at Harris Beckenham, my colleague Mr Jankowski will be leading the more able sessions, the workshops and opportunities to enable our students to attend a top university or degree apprenticeships. Both myself and Mr Jankowski focus on students providing professional guidance, advice, support during the whole UCAS application process. So we take them through the step-by-step process and help them out. We've got to make sure we get it right. So UCAS is not something to be done at the last minute when someone decides to go to university. It's very much a programme that begins in Year 12 and continues until the final submission in Year 13.
Over the year, there'll be 3 key assessment periods. This includes the induction tests, which are occurring next week on the 21st. The tests are there to be supportive, and we intend to see where students are currently at and what support is required to enable them to be successful in their subjects. Additionally, Mock 1 and Mock 2 are our standard Federation assessments. These assessments inform where extra study support is required, and these are done centrally by the Federation. Additional to this, students will also receive in-class assessments, homework assessment and coursework assessments. It's imperative they meet all deadlines, as this data may be relied upon when reporting home or to potential exam boards. If we feel a student is struggling, we will timetable additional support on Fridays. It's also important to note that our CTEC subjects, so that's business, ICT and sport, will have official exams which will be taken in January 2021 and July 2021, and these will count towards the final qualification. Students who are sitting these exams will be notified in lesson and formal timetables will be sent home.
Okay, so this brings me on to our behaviour policy. Our expectations here at Harris Academy Beckenham are extremely high, and especially when we're talking about behaviour. Any behaviour issues will be dealt with according to the severity of the offence. The sanctions include detentions, parental meetings, internal and external exclusions. Hopefully this doesn't happen, and it very rarely does, but we have a thing called academic board which can be sat at any time throughout the academy year. Students who are called to an academic board fit into one or more of the following categories. So things like continual failure to meet deadlines, continual failure to produce work in line with their target grades, persistent poor behaviour which is not in line with the sixth form expectations, attendance and punctuality which is not in line with the minimum standards, and the academic board has the right to withdraw the place of the students at any point if these things are not adhered to. We hope we never have to go down this route, but it's important you know that it exists. But as long as the student is doing what they're supposed to do and they're working in line with our very, very high expectations and their attendance and punctuality is extremely good, this is something that can easily be avoided, and there are lots and lots of positives that we aim to try and give our students.
As mentioned, attendance is key. If your son and daughter is unwell, you are required to contact Miss Landreth, our sixth form officer. Her number and email is detailed on the slide, but also in our handbook, which will be posted in our sixth form area of the webpage. Additionally, if a child is absent at school, you will receive texts and calls, or this is similar if your daughter or son has arrived late. It's important to note here that students are expected to arrive by 9:10 each day, and their arrival will come through the main gates, whereby they'll need to be sat in lesson no later than 9:15. Financial support is available to our students in sixth form. To receive this support, you will need to complete the bursary form and supply the documents of household income. Forms were handed out during enrolment and induction day, but they can be found outside the post-16 office. This funding is based upon attendance, punctuality and progress during the year. If you feel you are eligible for financial support, please contact Miss Landreth for further details, or ask your son and daughter to collect the forms outside of sixth form. If you can return these forms as soon as possible, then this is something we can set up immediately.
Additionally, during enrolment, you're asked to supply us with information if your son and daughter has additional needs or access arrangements. This includes if they're allowed extra time in exams or the use of laptops in exams, or they require scribes. Please can you complete the yellow form from the enrolment pack with the details, their name, address, etc. and their needs. However, if you are an internal student or parent of an internal student, you will not have this form, and we will be informed by my colleague Mrs. Jinks, who's in charge of our SEN department.
Finally, I'd like to thank you for listening to the Parent Information Evening, and I would like to welcome you to Harris Academy Beckenham. And for those that have remained with us, it's a pleasure to welcome you back. It's really unfortunate that we cannot meet in person, However, if you have any further questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact us. Again, our emails are displayed on the slide. Lastly, I have included the key dates as just a key reminder, and I'm really hoping by the time we get to our Year 12 Parents' Evening on the 4th of March, we will be able to meet each other. Have a lovely evening. Thank you again.